Hey people, Duncan here. I want to talk about the lack of parenting. First and foremost though, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment in the box below, and hit that bell for notifications. So let's talk about the lack of parenting in America specifically. So here we go. There are several problems that are happening today with our youth. First and foremost, there's the lack of parents. We sit back, we see specifically fathers being attacked nearly in every aspect. They're taught that they're unimportant, they're taught that they don't really matter, and so their rights are usually stripped from them. We see this with the abortion movement and all that. So, that's your first problem. The first problem is the lack of fathers, the lack of parents. We see a lot of kids going into the foster care system, which proves that there's a lack of real parents. But the biggest problem in my mind is the lack of parenting. Too many times in this world, too many times in this country, our parents are more interested in being the kids' friends than they are in being a kid's parent. Here's what I mean. So, discipline is almost out the door nowadays. It's almost illegal to spank your child. You can't yell at your child because that's considered verbal abuse. So you can't intimidate your child into the respect factor that our parents once taught us. Okay? So that's one problem. So, now you get these ideas where kids are running the house and parents simply just don't know how to discipline them. So here's a few things that I think would help bring back children into the roles. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Number one, when you have an infant child, from the very first day you bring this child home, the very first bedtime stories should be Bible verses. Pull out that Bible, read your Bible, and put your baby to sleep reading the Bible. Do this until the child is old enough to understand the words you're saying. When the child is old enough to understand the words you're saying, spend time every night to read a bedtime story to them, but once a week or twice a week, make sure you continue reading the Bible to them before bed. Okay, this is the key. This is one big thing you can do. Now, as they get older, install chores. Install the idea that hard work has rewards. Rewards such as maybe an allowance. Rewards such as maybe being able to get a little bit out a little later, or a little bit more freedom as a child. These are rewards for hard work. Then, as the child gets even older and becomes a teenager, you have them understand that they can come to talk to you. But every choice they make has a consequence. And people need to make choices and deal with consequences in order to grow as people. So you can't shelter a child away from making choices. But that doesn't mean you have to encourage them into making those choices. Okay? And remind them every day that each choice they make has a consequence. When they break the rules, hold them to the consequence. So people ask, how do you discipline a child? So here's what you do. If you have a teenager that's completely out of hand, is not listening, not respecting you as a parent, and is trying to walk all over you, here's what you do. Go into their bedroom, remove everything out of their room except their bed, and a blanket, and a pillow. They don't, by law, you're required to give them a bed and a blanket with a room. You give them nothing, an empty room. You give them your clothing. You choose what they're wearing every day. You lay it out on their bed every morning, and you make them earn their freedoms back. They do this by chores. They do this by not breaking the rules. Soon, they will learn that every choice they make has a consequence, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. You preach to them that sex is a choice. Pregnancy is a consequence. So they can relate in their minds that, hey, every time I made a bad choice, there was a bad consequence. Every time I made a good choice, there was a reward. So you've programmed your child into making good choices and choosing to make those choices instead of just listening to you make those choices for them. You reward hard work. Never take a moment, never miss a chance to say you love them. Never miss a chance to discipline them. Because believe it or not, a child needs discipline. A child craves discipline. They need to know that somebody really truly loves them enough to guide them in the right direction. This does not mean leash them up and pull them along. This doesn't mean shelter them away from the world. Because a person can never grow if they're not allowed to make bad choices. Just make sure they're informed on the choices they make and the consequences that come from them. Always be willing to help your child. But make sure they understand that the help goes to those who help themselves. Never miss an opportunity to spend time with your child. Never turn your back on your child. And when times are rough, sometimes all they need is a shoulder to cry on. If you follow these simple rules, these simple guidelines, you'll find that raising a child really isn't as hard as people make it out to be. You'll find that raising a child can be a fun experience, and you can have an opportunity to mentor the future of our country. Too many times in this country, we've seen our parents turn their backs on their children. We've seen our parents more interested in sheltering their children or being their kid's friend. A child cannot grow with that. A child cannot grow if they're not able to make mistakes. Just make sure that they understand that mistakes come with consequence. That's my message. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like the video, comment in the box below, hit that bell for notifications, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Duncan out.